Not all pets are as trustworthy as they seem, and these terrifying cases make that crystal clear. From exotic creatures to common household animals, these incidents left everyone in shock. What could have driven these animals to commit such horrific acts? And could it happen again? It sounds like something straight out of a horror movie, a massive snake slithering into a little girl's bed during the night. But this actually happened, and the ending was tragic. Join us as we uncover the disturbing truth behind everything from a man who was torn apart by his monitor lizards to the heartbreaking story of a pet crocodile in 14 pets that ate their owners. But before we get started, make sure to subscribe to our channel and leave your like. Now, let's get started. Number 1. Terry Vance Garner and the Pigs. In 2012, 69-year-old farmer Terry Vance Garner from Coos County, Oregon, met a tragic end while caring for his animals. Garner had a deep bond with his pigs, especially the adult ones, and a wild boar named Teddy. He never returned after feeding them on a Wednesday. When his family went to look for him, they discovered pieces of his body near the pig pen. The rest of his remains had been consumed by the pigs, each weighing about 700 pounds. Authorities speculated that the pigs might have knocked Garner down and attacked him after he fell. There was also the possibility that Garner had suffered a medical emergency, such as a heart attack, which caused him to fall. Despite an initial investigation, the exact cause of death remained uncertain, although the pathologist's report was sent to the University of Oregon for further analysis. Terry Garner was remembered as a kind and caring man who dedicated much of his life to the animals on his farm. His brother Michael recalled that the farm was a refuge for Terry, a Vietnam War veteran who struggled with post-traumatic stress disorder. Despite the risks of working with such large animals, Garner's deep affection for them kept him in his work. This story, like many others, serves as a tragic reminder of how even the most familiar animals can become dangerous under the right circumstances. Number 2. Brent Kandra and the Bear Attack. On August 19, 2010, 24-year-old caregiver Brent Kandra from Sam Mazzola's Exotic Animal Sanctuary in Columbia Station, Ohio, was fatally attacked by a bear. Sam Mazzola, the sanctuary's owner, had developed a close relationship with Bart, the bear, who was accustomed to human interaction. Among all the animals we have here, he was part of our family. On this particular day, the bear was let out of his cage, a routine practice at the sanctuary, but something triggered the animal's aggression. Bart suddenly attacked Brent, inflicting severe injuries that led to his death the following day at a Cleveland hospital. Sam Mazzola, known for organizing controversial bear fight events, had already faced legal issues related to the treatment of exotic animals. Despite having his license revoked, Mazzola continued to keep dangerous animals, including bears, tigers, and wolves, on his property. After the attack, Bart was euthanized at the request of Brent's family. Brent's father had warned him about the risks of working with wild animals, but Brent's lifelong passion for animals kept him at the sanctuary. This tragic incident highlights the dangers involved in interacting with wild animals, even when familiarity and trust seem to exist. Number 3. Marius Els and his deadly hippopotamus. In 2011, Marius Els, a farmer from South Africa, tragically lost his life to his pet hippopotamus, Humphrey, a 1,200-kilogram animal he had raised since infancy. For Marius, Humphrey was not just a wild animal, he was part of the family. After rescuing the young hippopotamus from a flood, Marius formed an extraordinary bond with the animal. They became local celebrities, with Marius often showcasing this connection in photos and videos where he would ride on Humphrey's back. Despite warnings from neighbors and wildlife experts about the dangers of keeping such a powerful animal, Marius believed that his bond with Humphrey made him harmless. However, the hippopotamus had already shown signs of aggression before, chasing golfers, threatening canoeists, and even attacking the farm's cattle. But Marius ignored these concerns. On a tragic night in November, Humphrey's wild instincts came to the forefront, and he attacked Marius, biting him and dragging him into the river near the farm. By the time paramedics arrived, it was too late to save him. This tragedy serves as a reminder of the limits of domestication and the unpredictable nature of wild animals, even when raised with care. Number 4. Sandra Pearson and the Fatal Wolf Attack. In 2006, Sandra Pearson, a 50-year-old woman from Salem Township, Pennsylvania, was tragically killed by the hybrid wolves she had kept as pets for over 10 years. Sandra had a deep love for wolves and had raised a pack of 9 hybrid animals, part wolf, part domestic dog, inside an electrified enclosure on her property. She considered herself the leader of the pack and often spoke about her spiritual connection with the animals. The fatal incident occurred while Sandra was tending to the wolves. Her daughter found her body inside the enclosure, and the autopsy revealed that Sandra died from excessive blood loss caused by severe injuries inflicted by the wolves. The attack, although sudden, was not entirely unexpected. The wolves had already displayed aggressive behavior in the past, even attacking a friend of Sandra's 2 years earlier. Animal welfare experts had warned Sandra about the dangers of keeping hybrid wolves, emphasizing that they were even more unpredictable than wild wolves, which typically fear humans. After the tragedy, the remaining 8 wolves were euthanized to ensure the safety of the authorities who needed to recover her body. This devastating story highlights the inherent risks of raising such powerful animals. Number 5. Charla Nash and the chimpanzee attack. On February 16, 2009, Charla Nash's life changed forever after a horrific attack by Travis, a pet chimpanzee weighing about 90 kilograms. Travis, owned by Charla's friend Sandra Harold in Stamford, Connecticut, had a peculiar life, being raised like a human child. He was a sort of local celebrity, having appeared in commercials and even eating gourmet dishes like steak and lobster. Charla, who had a close relationship with Sandra and often helped her with daily tasks, was called to the house when Travis began to act agitated. Unfortunately, when she approached the chimpanzee, he interpreted her actions as a threat and attacked her brutally. The animal mauled her face and hands in such a violent assault that Sandra, desperate, attempted to intervene by stabbing Travis to stop him. The police arrived shortly after, and when Travis charged at them, they were forced to shoot and kill him. Charla's injuries were catastrophic. She lost her face, eyes, nose, lips, and hands. Despite undergoing a face transplant in 2011, Charla became an advocate for stricter laws on exotic animal ownership, warning others about the dangers of keeping such unpredictable creatures. This tragic event sparked legal and ethical debates about the safety of owning wild animals, even when they appear to be domesticated. After this devastating chimpanzee attack, we now move on to a terrifying encounter involving wolves. Number 6. Andre Lomoga and his starving dogs. In a terrifying incident that occurred in Sulawesi, Indonesia, a man named Andre Lomoga went on vacation, leaving 7 of his dogs without food and water for 2 weeks. Upon returning, Lomoga was met with a horrifying scene. His starving dogs, desperate for food, attacked and killed him. They devoured his body, leaving only his skull behind. Lomoga's death might have gone unnoticed if not for a neighborhood guard who became suspicious when he noticed Lomoga's absence and his luggage left outside the house. The guard also noticed a strong odor coming from the location and called the police. When authorities entered the residence, they found Lomoga's skull in the kitchen and his body near the entrance of the house. It was also revealed that, during the 2 weeks of their owner's absence, the dogs had killed and eaten 2 other dogs, making the case even more macabre. The tragedy of Lomoga is rooted in his cultural context, coming from Sulawesi, where dog meat is part of the local diet. However, ironically, it was the animals he raised as pets that ultimately caused his death. This heartbreaking story highlights the dangers of neglecting animals, especially those that can turn against their owners in extreme situations. The case gained widespread media attention and raised awareness about the risks of leaving animals without proper care, especially in vulnerable situations where their access to food and water is restricted for long periods. Many experts pointed out that hunger can lead to unpredictable and aggressive behavior in animals, especially those that are usually well-fed and domesticated. A dog's survival instinct can be extremely strong, leading to desperate behaviors, as seen in this case. Animal behavior specialists observed that, although pet dogs are generally loyal and friendly, their survival instinct can override their usual behavior in life-threatening situations. In Lomoga's case, the dogs were likely accustomed to his presence and care, but after days without food, desperation may have led them to attack their own owner. While this was an extreme action, it was not a premeditated act of aggression, but rather a tragic outcome caused by neglect. It is important to emphasize that this outcome was not an intentional act of aggression, but rather a consequence of severe neglect and extreme hunger. In addition to Lomoga's death, this incident also brought attention to the issue of animal welfare in the region. Many people in Sulawesi and other parts of Indonesia tend to leave their animals unsupervised during vacations or holidays. However, experts warn that leaving animals without care for long periods can have disastrous consequences. This tragedy highlighted the need for stricter regulations regarding the treatment of animals, including requirements for owners to provide adequate care in their absence, as well as more education on the responsibility of pet ownership. Additionally, Lamoga's death underscored the growing concern about animal welfare in Indonesia, where the conditions for both street and domesticated animals are often poor. Animal rights groups continue to push for stricter animal protection laws, as well as more support for pet owners to ensure the well-being of their pets. This story, as tragic as it is, serves as a grim reminder of the consequences of neglecting the responsibility of caring for pets and the severe impact this can have on both humans and the animals themselves. Number 7. Marvin Hayos and the deadly cassowary. In 2019, a shocking tragedy occurred in Florida when 75-year-old Marvin Hayos was fatally injured by one of his pet cassowaries, large, flightless birds native to Australia and New Guinea. Hayos, a dedicated breeder of these exotic birds on his private property, was attacked after reportedly falling near one of the cassowaries. Although the attack was not considered intentional, the incident resulted in fatal injuries, and Marvin was later declared dead at the hospital. Cassowaries, often referred to as the world's most dangerous bird, are known for their aggressive nature and impressive size. These birds can reach up to 1.8 meters in height and weigh around 60 kilograms, with extremely powerful legs and large, sharp claws capable of causing severe and even fatal injuries. Their claws can grow up to 12 centimeters in length, allowing them to deliver devastating kicks at impressive speeds, making any attack a real and immediate danger. In the wild, cassowaries use their claws to defend themselves from predators and to fight for territory. But their aggression can also be directed at humans, especially when they feel threatened or cornered. Although attacks on humans are rare, when they do occur, the consequences can be fatal, as was the case with Marvin Hayos. His death serves as a grim reminder of the dangers associated with keeping such a powerful and unpredictable creature. Cassowaries are not domesticated animals, and their territorial instincts can make them highly dangerous, especially when kept in confined spaces or in constant contact with humans. In the wild, cassowaries are solitary and reclusive animals, often avoiding contact with humans. However, in captivity, their behavior can become more unstable and harder to predict, increasing the risk of accidents. In some cases, exotic animal collectors in the United States seek to keep cassowaries, but the risks involved in raising these birds are immense. Many states have laws regulating the ownership of these dangerous animals, though the rules vary significantly between them. Some states require special permits for cassowary ownership, while others impose severe restrictions or outright ban their breeding. Even in states where owning cassowaries is legal, it is essential to take proper precautions to ensure the safety of both the animal and the people. To prevent accidents, these animals are often kept in large enclosures with sturdy fencing designed to prevent escapes and minimize direct contact with humans. After the incident that resulted in Marvin Hayos's death, the cassowary involved was contained on a private property, but no immediate decision was made regarding its future. This tragic attack raised serious questions about the ethical implications of keeping dangerous animals as pets and the responsibilities of owners to ensure the safety of themselves and others. The case sparked discussions about the regulation of exotic animal ownership, with many calling for stricter laws and clearer guidelines for the breeding and care of such unpredictable species. Marvin Hayos's death highlights the importance of understanding the natural behavior of animals and the risks that can arise when wild creatures are kept in domestic environments without proper preparation. Furthermore, it emphasizes the need for proper education and training for those who choose to care for exotic animals, as well as the importance of following strict safety protocols to minimize the dangers these animals can pose. Following the incident, animal welfare advocates intensified their efforts to ensure that more comprehensive laws and regulations. Number 8. The Tragedy of the Camel, Pam Weaver's Fatal Encounter. In 2007, a shocking tragedy occurred in New South Wales, Australia, when Pam Weaver, an animal lover, lost her life due to a violent incident involving a camel she had received as a birthday gift. The camel, initially given with the intention of bringing joy and excitement to her life, ultimately became the cause of her untimely death. Pam, who had developed a special and strong bond with the animal, always cared for it lovingly, and the camel in turn seemed to be a gentle animal, behaving calmly and affectionately. However, on one fateful day, Pam was spending time in her backyard with the camel when, suddenly, the previously docile animal became aggressive and unpredictable. According to witnesses, the camel violently knocked Pam to the ground and crushed her with its massive weight, leaving her unable to defend herself. Although she was rushed to the hospital, Pam did not survive her severe injuries and passed away shortly after receiving treatment. The camel had been part of her life for some time, and although it was domesticated, large animals like camels, even with training, can still exhibit unpredictable behaviors, especially when under stress or in situations that disturb them. It is believed that the attack was triggered by some kind of stress or confusion from the animal, possibly due to changes in its routine or even human behavior. However, the exact cause of the incident remains unknown. Pam's tragic death caused great sorrow among her family, friends, and the local community, sparking intense debates about the dangers of keeping large exotic animals as pets, especially those that, despite being domesticated, still carry wild instincts. The connection between animals and their natural instincts is undeniable, and the camel's aggressive behavior, though rare, serves as a warning about the risks of such interactions. This incident highlights how even domesticated creatures can still harbor unpredictable and dangerous instincts, leading to disastrous consequences. Now, let us turn our attention to another unexpected tragedy, this time involving one of the most dangerous birds in the world. Number 9. Paul McDonald and his pet deer. In 2019, a tragic accident occurred in Australia when Paul McDonald, a farmer, was fatally attacked by a hybrid deer known as a wapiti, which he had raised on his farm. The wapiti, a cross between a red deer and an elk, had been calm and docile for years, accustomed to human interaction and the daily feeding routine Paul provided. However, during the mating season, a critical time for these animals when males experience an increase in testosterone levels, the deer's behavior changed drastically, becoming unexpectedly aggressive. On the morning of the attack, Paul went to feed the wapiti without realizing the change in the animal's behavior due to the rut, a phase when its instinctive and territorial nature intensifies. When his wife and son heard the commotion and rushed to help, they found the situation spiraling out of control, with the wapiti showing clear signs of hostility and aggression. The animal, now more aggressive and difficult to control, became even more violent, injuring Paul's wife when she tried to intervene, attempting to save her husband. Paul's son ran desperately to seek help, but tragically, Paul suffered fatal injuries from the attack. Although help arrived quickly, with paramedics and police on the scene, it was too late to save Paul, who had succumbed to the severe injuries caused by the deer's strikes. The animal, still in a frenzy, was euthanized to prevent further harm to others and the potential escalation of the attack. Paul's wife, injured in the attack, was taken to the hospital, where she underwent several surgeries to treat her wounds. This tragic incident caused widespread shock, particularly due to the unexpected behavior of the animal. Research shows that hormonal changes during the rut can make deer more aggressive and unpredictable, especially when the animal feels challenged or threatened. While castration and the isolation of other deer can help prevent such violent outbursts, the combination of the wapiti's hormones and the mating season led to this tragic and unforeseen incident, leaving a family devastated. Number 10. Mark Vogel and his dangerous reptiles. In 2004, Mark Vogel, a 30-year-old man from Dortmund, Germany, met a tragic end in a bizarre accident involving his vast collection of exotic animals. Vogel was widely known for his passion for unusual and dangerous creatures, and he kept over 200 spiders, reptiles, and other exotic species in his apartment, which resembled more of a jungle than a home. His desire to have a diverse collection led him to acquire risky creatures, including some of the most dangerous, such as black widows and tarantulas. He often handled these spiders skillfully, but unfortunately, one of the black widows bit Vogel, and the deadly venom from the spider led to his premature death. The bite was quick, but Vogel's body reacted fatally to the venom. Additionally, complications caused by other exotic animals like the reptiles and tarantulas in his apartment likely worsened his condition and sped up the process of his demise. When authorities arrived at the scene, they found Vogel's body surrounded by his exotic animals. Lizards and tarantulas were feeding on his remains. The scene was truly horrifying. Spiders were emerging from his nose and mouth, and the poorly lit apartment was filled with thousands of termites and other creatures, creating a truly macabre atmosphere. The discovery of a spider web on his face, with the presence of the Black Widow, made the situation even more disturbing and grim. This tragic and shocking event served as a chilling reminder of the dangers of keeping large collections of exotic animals, especially when these animals are potentially fatal. While some might find it exciting or interesting to have such pets, the risks involved can be absolutely deadly, as was made clear by Mark Vogel's fate. Number 11. Yam Mohammed and his pet monkey. In Malaysia, it is common for monkeys to be trained to assist in coconut harvesting due to their exceptional climbing skills and agility, making them valuable tools in the field. This practice inspired 72-year-old Yam Mohammed to train his pet monkey to do the same. Over the years, Yam and the monkey had developed a trusting relationship, and the animal became an efficient helper in the harvesting process. However, what seemed like a harmless and routine task ended in tragedy. The monkey, which Yam had raised and fed, unexpectedly attacked him while he was attempting to finish harvesting from a coconut tree. The attack began with a severe bite on Yam's wrist, cutting a major artery and causing him to bleed to death. The violence of the attack was sudden, catching Yam by surprise and leaving him no chance to defend himself. His son, Msir Zachariah Yam, rushed to the scene after hearing the commotion, but as he tried to help, the monkey attacked him as well, biting him violently on the neck. Zachariah's desperate screams alerted neighbors, who quickly ran to assist. However, the monkey, startled by the presence of people, fled into the nearby jungle, leaving behind a shocking scene and a trail of destruction. Authorities, including Malaysia's Department of Wildlife and National Parks, immediately launched an operation to capture the animal, fearing it might attack again. After some time, they managed to sedate it, and due to its aggressive behavior and the danger it posed, the monkey was likely euthanized. This tragic incident serves as a warning about the dangers of keeping wild animals as pets, even those that initially appeared docile and domesticated. The unexpected attack highlighted the need for stricter measures regarding the ownership of wild animals in domestic environments, especially to prevent tragedies that can occur when the natural behaviors of these animals are triggered. Number 12. The tragedy with the pet snake. In 2019, a horrifying event occurred in Florida when a 2-year-old girl, Cheyenne Hare, was tragically killed by the family's pet Burmese python named Gypsy. The snake, measuring 2.6 meters long, managed to escape from its enclosure, which had been inadequately covered with only a blanket instead of a secure lid, showing clear negligence regarding safety. The snake, with its hunter instinct, took advantage of the flaw in the enclosure and moved stealthily during the night. While Cheyenne was sleeping in her crib, Gypsy slithered over and attacked. Burmese pythons, native to Southeast Asia, have a deadly hunting method. They kill by constriction, using their immense strength to suffocate their victims before swallowing them, which makes the attack even more dangerous and fatal. Cheyenne had no chance against the natural instincts of the snake, which, due to its size and strength, was an effective and silent predator. When authorities arrived, the girl's body showed clear signs of suffocation, and the scene was described as shocking by rescuers, who found the snake on top of the child. The tragedy immediately rocked the local community, and the couple who owned the snake, Jiren Hare and her boyfriend Charles Darnell, faced severe criticism for their irresponsibility. Although they had kept Gypsy for years without incidents, they failed to secure an adequate enclosure, despite having previously witnessed the snake attempting to escape, which should have been a clear sign that security was an urgent issue. The incident reignited heated debates about the risks of keeping exotic animals as pets, particularly dangerous reptiles, in homes with small children. Experts have long warned that snakes like Burmese pythons are too unpredictable to be kept as pets, especially due to their size and natural behaviors. Cheyenne's tragedy served as a grim reminder of the dangers of this practice. As a result, the incident led to increased calls for stricter regulations on the ownership of exotic animals in Florida, particularly regarding the need for secure and escape-proof enclosures to prevent future similar tragedies. Number 13. Dai Tuo and the tragedy with the crocodile. In January 2019, Dai Tuo, the head of a pearl farming laboratory in North Soloi, Indonesia, met a cruel fate involving a crocodile named Mary. This reptile, an impressive 4.4 meters long, was legally kept in an outdoor enclosure at the laboratory, which already raised concerns among experts about its presence and the potential risks involved. Mary was not just a simple attraction, she was a wild crocodile with her own instincts and considerable strength, something not everyone was prepared to handle. It was reported that Dai was feeding Mary when she either slipped into the enclosure or was dragged in by the force of the crocodile, unable to react or escape quickly. Crocodiles are known for their ability to leap with impressive speed, using powerful tail strikes to surprise their prey, which may have caused Dai to fall. This lethal technique, combined with the animal's raw power, created an extreme risk situation for Dai, who likely didn't have enough time to react before being attacked. When her colleagues found her, the scene was devastating. Mary had already begun attacking Dai, consuming part of her abdomen and one of her hands, making the situation even more desperate. Despite rescue efforts, it was too late. The horrific scene alarmed local authorities and led to an immediate investigation into the legality and safety of keeping such a dangerous animal in captivity, especially in an environment where protection was inadequate for both the animal and the person involved. A coordinated operation involving police, military, and wildlife agents was required to safely remove Mary. To ensure everyone's safety and the well-being of the animal, the crocodile was sedated and transferred to a wildlife rescue center, where she was contained for treatment and behavioral evaluation. This tragic incident serves as a stark reminder of the dangers of keeping wild animals in captivity without proper safety precautions, as well as highlighting the risks involved when humans underestimate the strength and instincts of such a formidable predator. Number 14. The fatal encounter of Ronald Huff with his monitor lizards. In 2002, a devastating incident unfolded in Delaware when Ronald Huff, a reptile enthusiast, was tragically killed by his own pet monitor lizards. Huff, 42 years old, had cared for exotic animals for many years, including several large monitor lizards known for their intimidating appearance and reserved behavior. Tragically, his passion for reptiles ended in disaster when he was found lifeless in his home, in a scene that shocked even the most seasoned first responders. The cause of death was attributed to severe injuries and multiple lacerations caused by the very animals he raised, specifically the monitor lizards. These reptiles, known for their impressive size and considerable strength, are primarily found in regions of Asia and Africa and can grow up to an astonishing 10 feet in length, depending on the species. Beyond their physical strength, they possess sharp teeth and a powerful bite, which can cause severe infections due to the bacteria present in their saliva. Although they are generally not considered aggressive toward humans, monitor lizards remain wild animals with unpredictable behaviors, especially when they feel threatened, stressed, or are searching for food. It's believed the attack occurred after an altercation, possibly related to a poorly planned feeding session or an instinctive reaction from the reptiles to Huff's movement. He had a strong bond with these animals, treating them with care and dedication, but this tragic event painfully highlighted the inherent dangers of keeping wild animals without specialized training and proper safety measures. The impact of his death reverberated through the local community and among animal welfare advocates. This event led to a rigorous reevaluation of regulations in Delaware and several other states concerning the ownership of potentially dangerous exotic animals, sparking debates about how safe it truly is to allow wild species to be kept in domestic environments. Huff will be remembered not only for his passion, but also as a tragic example of the unforeseen risks that can arise when attempting to tame what nature designed to be free and wild. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed our content, make sure to subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Don't forget to check out other interesting content appearing on your screen right now, and I'll see you in the next video. See you next time.